Welcome back. There's a new political divide emerging in New York City, and it's not just left versus right, but it's native-born versus foreign-born. A new poll shows Democrat socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani dominating among foreign-born voters, winning 62% of their support. But among American-born New Yorkers, former Governor Andrew Cuomo leads the field by double digits. According to the Census Bureau, 36% of New York's population has been foreign-born since 2006. Joining me now is host of Texas Scorecard's Come and Take It podcast, Sara Gonzales, publisher of Texas Scorecard, Michael Quinn Sullivan, and Third Way Deputy Director David De La Fuente. Thank you all for being with us here today. David, let's start with you. Is that concerning? That statistic that Zohran Mamdani in particular is dominating with foreign-born voters. Is that concerning?
No, I don't think so, because we're not talking about non-citizens voting, which would be extremely concerning. We're talking about American citizens here. They deserve a right to vote. And New York City has really been this land of immigration for decades on end. If this was the 1930s or 40s, we would be talking, would O'Brien or would LaGuardia or O'Dwyer be abnormal New York City mayors? And they weren't. They were elected by mostly the immigrant population there. Mamdani is another example of that.
But I think the point then would be what immigrants, holding what values. And I think that's what we see reflected here with Zohran Mamdani. And I don't think anyone contests an American citizen, despite being foreign-born's right to vote. But, Sarah, it's what they choose to vote for.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's a little naive to not be alarmed by this, because when you are importing a lot of people who, it turns out, don't share your values and have values actually antithetical to this country, it really shouldn't come as a surprise. I mean, we see the blueprint for this right now in the UK. You see London. You see how they've taken over some of these towns. They have literal no-go zones there. Several decades ago, if a Republican walked around saying, but you realize the end result of this will be no-go zones, they were laughed out of the room and called Islamophobes. But we see this actually happening. And so I just think that it's a very dangerous situation when you have this, diversity is your strength policy, where you're importing these people who have values that don't align with America.
Michael?
I think I am maybe more concerned by the large number of American-born individuals supporting Mamdani. These are folks who have, on the one hand, at least excuse the foreign-born individual who was not raised with our values, with our principles, with the ideals of the American Republic. What about all these people who were? How are we failing them? How have we failed them to the extent that they're willing to vote for someone who is so antithetical to our principles?
Well, I think we have that conversation on an ongoing basis about education in America, what young people see as their relationship with government. But for this particular part of the conversation, David, I do want to go back to you because I share Sarah's concerns. I'm really concerned about the idea that when you come to America, you don't assimilate to America, and you might not come sharing the values of America. And now, maybe, as she points out, we have a future that looks not unlike Manchester, England, or London, England, where our politics begin to reflect the values of the people that have come to America without adopting the values of America.
Yeah, I mean, this country has always been one where there's been waves and waves and waves of immigrants, and they do change some of the fabric of the nation while we uphold our Constitution and American values. It's, the children of immigrants that I think, assimilate a little bit more.
Well, I don't think they change the fabric of our Constitution. That's a very difficult thing to do. It's literally an enshrined document. But what they might change a little bit is our food culture, or how we celebrate holidays. President Trump right now is in the Oval Office apparently ready to celebrate Diwali, an Indian Hindu holiday. But what we're talking about, something with Mamdani, is vastly different. We're talking about a man who's openly Democrat socialist, whose behavior, I think, is obviously more closely aligned to communist. And I think he's probably not showing the full ball. He's hiding the ball a little bit on how he feels about Islam and its relationship to government.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to defend democratic socialism. It's not an ideology that I subscribe to personally. But Mamdani won a Democratic primary, and now he is probably set to win a general election amongst, the majority or at least plurality of New York City voters. It's really their choice as a city to elect him as a mayor. And if they do so, they will sink or swim on their own.
Yes, but Sarah, back to you. It's just not a mystery.
No.
Walk down the streets of Manchester, England.
Right. Yeah, we're already seeing it happen, and that's why it's just so frustrating, because, I mean, I do agree you get what you vote for, but unfortunately for the rest of us, there are going to be far-reaching ramifications in the entire country. I mean, you're talking about the financial capital of the world that could potentially elect a mayor who's palling around with a terrorist. I mean, an actual terrorist. We're talking about the World Trade Center bombing. And so when you look at how they could possibly do that, you see all these foreign-born nationals coming in here, and yes, they are naturalized citizens, but unfortunately, we're not talking about the immigrants of the past who were ready to assimilate, who came here because they believed in the American dream. We are talking about people with a far different motive and motivation, and I think that we need to recognize that.
And that's the conversation I think I want to have. It's really one about assimilation, Mike.
Yeah, look, theoretically, all these folks left something. Not only did they come to something, they left something. And it's sad to see them wanting to embrace, in many ways, what many of them left.
Exactly. That's the concerning thing. The idea of America in the past was to come in to become American. I'm afraid what increasingly we're seeing is somebody coming to America but remaining Ugandan.